So we're now 5 days out from Nationals. And honestly, still kind of processing everything. Because other than, getting over the finish line and, having my little moment an hour or so after the race was over, I really don't feel like the satisfaction, I guess, as much of the relief as I was really looking for in a sub 2 hour result. I'm insanely hard on myself whenever I don't hit my goals. But now that I finally got them, I'm not really feeling the opposite of that. The dominant message in my mind has not been, you finally got there, so much as it is, well damn, it took you long enough. Because yeah, I do still have big goals, and I am still chasing them. And this is only one step along the way. But I feel like I can't even let myself enjoy that step. I wrote this in my race recap a couple days ago, that, yeah, it wasn't a smashing, great breakout performance in anything. It was just doing good enough in all 3 disciplines, and in nutrition and heat training and rest and transition and everything else that ultimately came together. I just can't help but wonder, well, what if I did have a great performance in any or all of those disciplines? What if I did do really well in everything? Not just a good enough swim and bike and run, but a really great swim and a really great bike and a really great run. But listen to me. I need to listen to myself. Again, I broke 2 hours and I still don't feel good about it. How many people can even say that first part, let alone the second? But that's been my dominant mentality for years now, is I have to get better constantly, and that I'm not good enough for myself. And to be totally frank, I'm not doing well. Not just competitively, but mentally, just as a person. I have these big, lofty goals that I keep chasing, that I keep failing at and feeling like shit, just wearing myself out in the process, both physically and psychologically. There's a lot that needs to change this next coming season and going forward from there as well. I am in the process of looking for an elite development squad. But again, to be fully transparent with you, I'm also looking for a therapist. And this is something I've been telling myself for years, for a lot of different reasons that I need. Athletics has never been one of those reasons until now. I feel like what was once a source of self-worth, not self-worth, but validation and development that made me better as a person has become, especially with my goals, a monkey on my back. It's not just I want to do better, it's I have to do better. And furthermore, why am I not doing better? And that's a terrible way to think about things. And I need to change it about myself. And I need help doing that. And I know I've got a lot of progress to become not just a better athlete, but in order to get there, to become a more whole person. And that's something that I really need to stop kicking down the road, or brushing under the rug. That I've got to start taking care of myself as a person better. And that's what the first half of this next training season is really going to look like. I have, in the past couple years,
been really hard on myself in regards to my goals, my performance, everything like that. My results have not put me in a good mental space, and it's something that's not just, oh, I feel bad about this one race, but that's been very, very persistent for me. And I mentioned earlier needing to, I think, probably talk with someone about that and really sort myself out mentally and emotionally. I've spent these last couple months doing something that I have been meaning to do for a very long time, but have not gotten around to it, and that's reaching out and talking to someone, going to therapy, getting set up with a psychologist, and got a few diagnoses. Generalized anxiety disorder with social anxiety, dysthymic disorder, and dependent personality disorder. Another big change that's going to go along with this next year of increased training and increased capacity and intensity and load, and really taking triathlon and aspiring pro triathlon seriously. One thing that's going to go along with that is taking better care of myself mentally, going to regular therapy, being more open about all of this. And I know that's not glamorous or, intense or inspiring or anything, any of the things that we normally talk about in triathlon, but it still deserves to be talked about. It's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that I'm going to try to come to grips with, is that I need to see myself in a more positive light, not based on my performance, but rather based on just worthiness of that as a human being, which I think is something that a lot of people could probably afford to do. It's a reverse psychology, sort of treating yourself with less pressure and with less intensity is ultimately what allows you to perform at more intense levels. Letting go, to some degree, of that constant pressure on myself will help me perform better, even though I put the pressure on myself to perform. I think it's something that's important to talk about. I wonder if a lot of other people are struggling with right now and just not talking about it. So I hope that giving voice to that in some way helps you out if you're going through the same thing. I know I keep saying this, but I think it really is going to be a big year for me. And ideally the year after that will be even bigger. So that's sort of what this is all about, is preparing myself for something even bigger.
So now what happens? Well, my long-term goals haven't changed a bit. I've still got my sights set on earning my elite license and competing in the PTO. But if all my time chasing 2 hours has taught me anything, it's that I really am going about this the wrong way. I've spent years obsessing over numbers, over race results, and putting pressure on myself with pass-fail outcomes that only come around a few times a year. All this time, I should have been focusing on doing my absolute best throughout the process, rather than just the outcome. And in 2024, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm giving myself one more year to attack the Olympic distance before moving up to mid-distance racing. And I'm getting rid of all the stress that's been hanging over my head. Instead of obsessing over whether I hit a specific number at the end of the season, I'm going to start obsessing over doing things right on a daily basis. Getting enough sleep every night, eating right every day, preparing to throw myself at every single workout. I'm treating 2024 as a victory lap towards my last hurrah at Malaga. But at the same time, this whole year is going to be about laying the groundwork for 2025. I've already spent years chasing the best age group performance I can. Now, it's time to build the mentality and the speed that it takes to be a pro.